Hi, my name is Lasejo. I am an astrologer and tarot reader, and today I am going to be speaking about the solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. So I am just going to share my screen with the chart. We're going to go straight into it. So this is the chart for my time zone. You should check when the solar eclipse is happening in your time zone. And for those of you that don't know, a solar eclipse is when a new moon happens with an orb of the node. So obviously this is a new moon that is near the south node, right? So there is this sense of letting go, but at the same time, right, I do want to speak about Virgo energy first, because the feeling that the solar eclipse is giving me is one of perfection. And I'm going to break that down. So we all know, and I always say that Virgo energy is very particular. It's very efficient. And the reason that Virgo energy is so particular and efficient is because it is striving for that sense of perfection, or this concept or idea of perfection, right? But Virgo is a mutable earth sign. So this idea of perfection is always changing. It's always going, it's adapting, it's flexible. It has to be in order for it to survive, because perfection doesn't really exist, if we are being honest, right? But it doesn't stop Virgo from trying. Anybody with a Virgo placement knows that drive, that motivation to be perfect. And that is where the sense of criticism comes from, is because you know what it takes to make something work. And that's why you are super critical of it, right? Now, why I started with perfection, that was the first line that I wanted to, note down, is because this solar eclipse is happening at the Aries point, right? So we want to be seen, we want to be noticed. And this is the solar eclipse for that, for us to really be put in the spotlight, really be seen, right? Yes, there is that sense of letting go of something that we no longer need, but we can deal. It is okay, because this is our time, this is our moment, right? And we don't have to be so overcritical of the details, because it is perfect as it is. We are the way that we are supposed to be in this moment, within this time. There's nothing that needs to change, right? However, I will add that Saturn, right? 28 degrees of Pisces. It's there, it's retrograde, right? And Saturn is opposing this solar eclipse, right? So Saturn is the tester, the teacher, right? And you may find that before you are pushed to be noticed, before you are launched into this brand new world, that you come across some test from someone outside of yourself, someone who feels like an adversary, right? But what we need to note about Saturn is Saturn doesn't delay us or test us because Saturn wants to see us fail. Saturn wants us to succeed, to be at our best. But Saturn knows that we cannot be at our best if we don't have some challenges along the way. So before you launch this new beginning, or start something new, or you put yourself in the spotlight, it's important to make sure that you've done all the checks, you've done all the work you've needed to do, that everything to a certain degree is perfect by your standards, right? And we shouldn't let the fact that we have a sense of opposition, weigh us down. This is not the time to let our mind, our thought process weigh us down, because there is the potential, right? We can feel this energy of like budding new beginning, and this, ready to go energy. There is this sense of analysis paralysis because we are indecisive. And we shouldn't let that stop us. Where this is coming from is the fact that the ruler of the solar eclipse, Mercury, is at 6 degrees of Libra, right? So Mercury, mind, communication. we're feeling like, is this the right thing to do? I think I need to consult with someone else, which is fine. It's okay. We can consult with someone else, we can check with someone else. But I don't want you to get stuck just because you don't get the answers that you need. What are your standards? Have you checked in with yourself first, right? Because at the end of the day, sometimes we need to kind of like ease our own fears, and we don't need to look for that validation outside of ourselves. But it's okay. Everybody, this is going to manifest differently for you. So especially if you have planets within 3 degrees of 29 degrees of Virgo. So I will admit, if you are, or mutable signs specifically, just to clarify. So obviously, if you have a planet or point in Virgo, it's going to be conjunct. The solar eclipse is going to be conjunct that aspect. And it's going to seem like, oh my gosh, like I'm ready, but not ready yet. And it's okay. If you have a planet or point in the sign of Pisces, obviously Saturn is conjunct, that planet or point. So you are really feeling the weight and the responsibility. But it doesn't mean that this new beginning isn't for you too. If you have any planets or points in the sign of Gemini or Sagittarius, it may be a bit more disruptive, but the drive and motivation to be noticed is there, and you will be seen. It just might not look the way that you want it to, which is okay, guys. We're just rolling with the punches. So yeah, as usual, I am going to pull oracles. So what do we need to know? If you can't see right now, but I'm shuffling part. What do we need to know for the solar eclipse of 29 degrees of Virgo? And I will post the cards on my Instagram. So I'm just going to pull 3 cards. So we have what you give will come back. Love is the reason. They chose you. They chose you. I'm gonna start with that actually. They chose you. You are worthy to have an obstacle. You are worthy to be challenged and tested. It's such a weird mindset to have, but stay with me. We sometimes feel like when we're being tested, it's because we think someone wants to set us back and they want us to stay at the back of the line. But imagine how fortified you feel when you pass the test. That is why we are being tested at this time, is to have that sense of fortification, that sense of structure, not to be pushed back to the back of the line. This is our time. This is our time to succeed and to grow and to really go somewhere with something, right? That house where 29 degrees of Virgo, that is where you are going somewhere, right? And that is why you have been chosen to be tested. Like, it is an honor to be tested, right? And what you give will come back, and love is the reason. As soon as I saw those cards, I just remembered the fact that Virgo is the sign of service, of doing something for someone else, right? Because you know that there's something greater than yourself, or you're not alone, basically. And I think you need to understand that just because this is your time, you shouldn't come from a place of expecting things to go the way that you want to. Yes, everything is perfect and the way it should be, but remember, there's so many things unknown to us, so many things that are out of our control, that the way that it happens in real time, in real life, it really doesn't happen always the way we expect. So you need to understand that what you are getting out of this might not be what you wanted to get, but it doesn't mean that it's any less than what you deserve. As usual, take what I said with a grain of salt, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments how and where the solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo is happening for you. And if you liked this, like, subscribe, because there's plenty more videos where that or this came from.